Hi again, Colin Receveur here, and thanks for joining me on the second day of our 5-day series on taking your ego out of your marketing. We're going to look at how much your opinion matters in your own marketing efforts when we come back. On this 5-day series, we're going to be covering the 5 ways that our friends over at Hubspot identified in their recent blog on how to take ego, specifically your ego, out of content marketing and all of your marketing efforts. And we're going to be applying this to dentists. Now, yesterday we talked about how to make sure that you're listening and you're attuning your marketing message to the problems and the emotions that people are experiencing. Today, I want to talk about the second of the 5 reasons. Forget your personal opinion and focus on the numbers. Always test your assumptions and trying new methods for reaching potential patients and then analyzing and tracking your results all along the way. Now, if you've listened for any length of time, you know how big we are into metrics because frankly, what works right now in dental marketing isn't going to work a year from now. And as many of you have probably experienced, when you find something that works, what worked a year ago isn't working at all, or at least isn't working to the same efficacy of what it does today. And tracking and following and keeping up on what's producing and what phone calls are these leading in from, and is this still working for your practice, is the only way that you can stay on top and be still generating and attracting the types of patients that you want. You should be tracking where all of your opt-ins, all of your phone calls come from, because you simply can't know what's working and what isn't working if you're not diligently tracking. Now, there's a number of great systems out there. We have our Zetetic system that we use to track everything. But even in our own marketing, we send out messages through multiple channels to see which ones resonate the best, and then we focus on those. Now, I know a lot of dentists out there, and we hear this a lot, is that we've been doing this a long time. I know what works. And realize that times change. We're at an interesting point right now in the dental industry in that we're coming off a recession. And we also just underwent a fundamental shift in how patients are communicating and interacting. If you go back to 2006, 2008, before this crazy recession, depression hit, you had a lot of patients that were still not online. You had a lot of patients that still were searching, still using the yellow pages. And what's happened in the last 5-6 years is, first off, a lot of money has dried up in the economy. And secondly, a lot of the baby boomers and the older generation, not to mention the younger generation that, may have been on the fence, your 30s 5 years ago, your 30-something-year-olds, are now 100% on the internet. What we hear from a lot of dentists is, they're still blaming the economy on a lot of things, where, the economic recovery, while not what it was 5, 6, 8 years ago, is still very strong right now. The change that's occurred is how you are reaching out to these patients, how you can connect with them. And even in the older demographics, the internet is where that's happening right now. Maybe what you're doing is working right now, but how do you know that what you're doing is working better than something else unless you are constantly split testing and testing against a second method? If you want to attract more and better patients, test and track. Come back tomorrow and we're going to step this up a notch and make you even more uncomfortable. Until then, keep moving forward.